Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
Darrin Lopez was at one time considered a military hero who had seen death and destruction on his multiple deployments in Iraq. He was part of the special forces that first raided Saddam Hussein's palace. And during the Iraq invasion, Darrin was hurt severely. He would later tell a courtroom that he was diagnosed with a brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder, which made him feel uncomfortable around lots of people. He had been married at one point, but that fell apart, and his children went to live with their mom. After the pandemic hit, he felt even more isolated, which is when he decided to reconnect with his old high school flame, Jennifer, someone he considered to be his first love. He would later testify that he thought of Jennifer a lot when he had been overseas in Iraq. He ended up finding her on LinkedIn. She was now in her 40s and married to somebody else. "Wow, was I surprised to hear from you?" Jennifer responded to his introductory message in March 2020. "How do I know this is really you?" "Would it help if I called you Angel?" "As you wish," Darrin wrote back, quoting the famous "as you wish" line from the movie The Princess Bride. "Yep, that did it," Jennifer wrote. Then came emails back and forth, then text messages by the thousands. The friendship was rekindled, and the old spark turned into a blazing wildfire. Little did he know at the time, this fire burning bright was going to end up destroying Darrin's life and completely ending someone else's.
Jennifer turned me into the monster. I hate it.
So you're the victim here, Mr. Lopez. Is that what you're saying?
No, ma'am. I was duped in there, part of it, but I'm not going to say I'm just a total victim.
This is Jillian in partnership with Law and Crime. You are listening to Court Junkie, episode 257. Darrin Lopez took the witness stand in the summer of 2023. His story started out in Arizona in more innocent times, in the late 1980s. 2 teenagers who both liked music met each other at a co-ed Catholic high school. Here's Darrin testifying how he met Jennifer Faith.
Yeah, my sophomore year in the jazz band, my band director at the time knew Jennifer. She modeled for his wife. She took, local commercials and stuff like that. So his wife ran an agency. So our band director knew Jennifer, that she played the keyboard, and we needed a keyboardist to play for keyboard bass for our jazz band. So he brought her in. And so I met Jennifer in 1987. Yeah, so she was 15. We were both 15 then.
Darrin was a trumpet player while Jennifer sang. The high schoolers went on a 3-week tour around the world, performing in London, Paris, Germany, and Austria. Before long, Darrin and Jennifer officially became boyfriend and girlfriend.
We had our very first kiss was on the Eiffel Tower. Very memorable to me. Something that, will stay with me for forever. It was, special. She was like, I'd probably say I had dated a couple ladies, prior to, but Jennifer ended up being my first serious girlfriend for a long term, and started that way.
He said they dated throughout high school. Darrin was shown a senior prom picture, the picture of them together, Darrin was 17 going on 18, was marked as an exhibit at trial. In the photo, the two teenagers looked happy.
And you kept dating her after senior year?
Yes, we stayed together. We both started to attend. Actually, she had already graduated high school my senior year. She was actually attending Pima Community College, which was actually a college close to my house, like within 10 minutes. So a lot of her days when I was finishing my senior year at South Point, Jennifer was attending the community college there. In between her classes, she would come back to my house. She would hang out with my mom and my two youngest siblings at the time, John Paul and Yvonne. They were 2 and 3 years old. So, she was, loved by my family. We were together all the time. And after I graduated in 90, we both then moved up to Flagstaff, Arizona, and attended Northern Arizona University.
So you moved up there together?
Yes.
Did you live together?
No, we in dorms.
Okay.
We were freshmen in college. We both had dorm rooms, but, we were together. And then
when you got to college, you
Yes.
would still continue dating?
Yes.
Okay, you're still together?
Yes.
And did you finish college?
No, I only attended the first year. Like I said, I was 18, oldest of a Hispanic family with a Hispanic father that was a colonel in the Army. We butted heads. Me thinking I knew everything, chose my path to be on my own. And so I was trying to do this financially on my own with college, and that did not work out.
Darrin said he dropped out of school and began working for Jack in the Box in the fast food industry. He testified that he knew he wasn't going to have a career in the fast food industry, however. He came from a line of family members who had served in the military. His grandfathers, on both sides of the family, fought in World War II. Darrin's father joined the military too, which is why Darrin was born in Berlin. And so he volunteered to serve too. Darrin headed off to basic training while Jennifer was still in college. She eventually became a speech therapist. Darrin and Jennifer's paths began to split in 2 different directions. Darrin wrote her letters and called her to stay in touch, but his high school love was moving on and dating other men. They eventually both got married to different people. Jennifer and her first husband had a child together named Amber. Jamie Faith was her second husband. Meanwhile, Darrin had dated a woman named Rebecca he had met at Jack in the Box, and in 10 months, he and Rebecca got married too. Darrin became the stepdad to Rebecca's daughters, and they had kids together too. It seemed like Jennifer, his old high school love, was out of the picture, at least for a while. Darrin worked nights at a Jack in the Box in Phoenix, in a location he described as the gang zone. He also juggled child-rearing duties with Rebecca. The restaurant wasn't safe, so Darrin said he looked for something new.
I went into active duty at the end of 94 because of the gang violence there. Especially on the weekends, they would come around. There was a shooting next door in the Circle K. A kid got shot. He ended up running into my restaurant. He was bleeding from his arm. I ended up putting a tourniquet on there, saved him, called the ambulance, took care of him. We would get, the gangs would come around. We'd have to lock our doors. They'd come around. They would mark all on our windows. And so at that point, I was in the reserves. I was getting fed up with this. I was thinking, if I'm going to live a dangerous life, let me go in the military. At least they give me a gun, teach me how to do so I can fight back and defend myself. My first duty station was in 95. I was in South Korea for a year. And then I was with the Air Defense at the time. 96 came to Fort Lewis, Washington, and again with Air Defense. And then I applied for Special Forces in 1999.
Being a medic in the Special Forces required an intense amount of preparation. He recalled 3 years of training to be on the 12-person team.
I'm trained to keep a critically injured casualty alive on my own for 7 days. In that, We are trained almost to the level of a physician's assistant in an emergency room.
Darrin said that post 9/11, he was preparing to be part of the forces invading Iraq. This was in 2003. He filled out a top secret card in case he was ever captured for the military to verify that it was truly him. He said that's when he thought of Jennifer.
On the SEER card, once I fill it out, it's a top secret document to be used only if I'm captured. In that, so you have to fill out boxes to put down pertinent information that only I know. So in the event of my capture, when I get hopefully rescued, the rescue unit can pick out specific questions that only I know to verify that it's me.
So how does it relate to Jennifer herself?
So filling out these boxes, you gotta remember, it's 2003, it's the beginning of the internet. They want you to use only information that only I would know. And
did you put Jennifer down on that search?
Yes, it's not just the name, it's like a block of questions. So you have to put down like events. And so what I used was like, my first a major girlfriend was Jennifer Nichols. We met and we attended the band trip. Basically, I used the band trip for my summer year. So I put down our first kiss was on the Eiffel Tower. I put down that, we traveled and viewed the Matterhorn together. We were in Zermatt, outside of the hotel there.
So you put all that information as it related to Jennifer in that card?
Yes, sir.
He said picking Jennifer made sense because his card had to have his life details that weren't obvious and couldn't be searchable on the internet, like any mention of his wife. And besides, Darrin said he never forgot about Jennifer, even after he was married, raising kids, and overseas on his deployment.
The thing you asked about why I picked Jennifer is also these memories you have to have in case, I'm captured. I could be captured for a long time, could be tortured. These memories have to be something that's ingrained in me that I know when I am rescued, I'm going to answer the question, no matter what I've been through, for how long I've been through. So that's why they have to be very specific and very meaningful to me to make sure that I remember at the time.
Darrin detailed in court how multiple times over the course of his time overseas, he was hurt.
Were you injured in Iraq?
Yes, sir. A major injury occurred on my third deployment.
And were you injured before that also?
Slightly. I was blown. I had IEDs, improvised explosive devices, the road bombs, go off right next to my Humvee a couple of times during trip 2, and that started my concussion injuries.
His most serious injury occurred in September 2005. He said he was blown up by 2 trucks carrying explosive devices. 19 people were killed and 4 survived. He was one of them.
Let's talk about your injury.
Yes, sir.
How bad was it?
Sir, I was blown up twice by 2 truck bombs within 30 seconds of each other.
He said the explosives in the trucks were the same as what was used in the Oklahoma City bombing. He sustained a brain injury and his eardrums were blown out. He said he received a Purple Heart and Bronze Stars over objections from the prosecution. The objections were sustained. He told the jury that he was finally diagnosed with his brain injury in 2009. It was something that would end his military career. He was discharged and on full disability. Darrin and Rebecca had been living in Tennessee at the time, so that's where he moved to retire. Time passed, and his 23-year marriage broke down. He testified that in 2019, he became extremely depressed.
That's when the girls actually ended up moving away from me back to be with Rebecca. So I was by myself. For that full year, I had no contact, even with my buddies. I became extremely depressed. January 1st of 2020, I made my New Year's resolution to get back into life. And that's when I reconnected with my buddies, and at that time frame started to look for Jennifer. When I reached out to her, I wanted to thank her and let her know what she did for me for all these years, for the 10 years that I was in combat, what she meant with me and how she helped me through it.
Here's one of the first messages Darrin wrote to Jennifer, which was read out loud in court.
Where he says, "Hello, Angel. Wow, wow, wow. So great to hear from you. You have no idea the excitement and nerves I've had since last night since sending you that email. You've been in my head since I got to say hi. It felt so good calling you Angel and telling you as you wish. And with those simple words, you knew it was me. Attached is a letter I had been working on writing you for these past weeks." He goes on, "I would love to hear about all of our high school friends. I have not kept in touch with any of them. My head is still spinning. So happy to hear from you and looking forward to becoming a good friend to you."
Jennifer, now living outside Dallas, Texas, was an eager pen pal.
Where she states, "Hi, I'm completely giddy at this point. I don't have time to write fully reply right now, but wanted to give you my phone number. I'm not always available to talk, but almost always available to text. Gives phone number. I'll write a full response tomorrow."
The messages were soon crossing a line. Darrin proposed a dinner date. Later, he suggested a Disney vacation, even though Jennifer was married to her second husband, Jamie Faith.
"Hello, Angel. You keep blowing my mind in such an awesome way. I'm glad you had Jamie in your life. It looks like you all have made a great family, and what you have is unique and special, and I don't want to break that up. That being said, I know my heart and you still possess it. I love you, and that sounds so good when I say that. I think we can also, over time, build our own relationship in our own way. Neither of us is in a position to jump into anything crazy yet, but I know I would like to start down that road with you. Good thing I have free time on my hands, and I would like to come out there and let's get dinner." He goes on to say, "What I can feel is that I do have your heart, and that is all I need."
In another email to Jennifer, Darrin wrote, "You have my love always. Keep dreaming of our life together. You are my soulmate, and I need, all caps, you in my life. You are still so sexy. My desire for you has only grown to be the man to truly love you. Nothing can keep me from you. As you wish, D." The messages went on and on in that same tone of both sappy and sincere, emotional and dramatic. Then, Darrin testified, he started hearing from Jamie/support. Now, back to the episode. Darrin testified on the stand that Jennifer was soon complaining about her husband, Jamie. Jamie had adopted his stepdaughter, Amber, Jennifer's daughter from a previous marriage.
Right away, she started telling me about her relationship with Jamie and how it was not emotional and no physical love there. And so that's when it started to grow.
He said Jennifer told him something else. She wasn't just in a loveless marriage, but an abusive one. She said she was scared to call the police because she didn't want her daughter to find out what was happening between her parents. And that's where things got weird. Darrin said Jamie texted him and confronted him angrily from Jennifer's phone.
Turned out to be, it came from Jennifer Faith's phone, but it popped up. I believe the text message at first was, I know about you too. I'm going to take it out on her. Meaning, I was reading it as it was coming from Jamie.
Okay. What did you think? I mean, were you surprised by that?
I was in shock.
Now, wait, and that was coming from Jennifer's phone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. At any time during this whole episode, did you ever get a text message directly from another phone that was Jamie Faith's phone?
No, sir.
It was always through her phone.
Correct.
So you get this message. What do you do?
Like I said, I text back, like, what do you mean? And I believe then is when he said, this is Jamie. I found her phone and I see you two have been texting. And, and he was upset about it.
Darrin testified that he never asked for Jamie's direct phone number because he always thought it was a bad idea for him to talk with Jamie. Things could get heated. Jennifer could get hurt. He said Jennifer started forwarding emails from an account that looked like it belonged to Jamie. It would also come out during testimony at trial that this email account, jamiefaith511@gmail.com, was actually brand new and created on April 9th, 2020. Darrin told the court that he received emails from that account too. The prosecutor read one of those emails that Darrin received from Jamie. The date on the email was April 10th, a day after the account was created. The subject line read, "Please stay away."
It's a long email, but basically, Darrin, I got your email from Jen's phone. I would normally call you to discuss this, but I don't want this to be an angry conversation. So it's easier for me to send you an email and hope we can settle this in a civil manner. I want to make a plea to you, man, to please leave my family alone. I know you and Jennifer have a strong history together, but the fact is you haven't been around. I have. You have no right to come waltzing back into her life and destroy everything she and I had built together. If someone had done that to your family, you would not have stood for it. The fact is, I don't work without her. And it goes on, fairly polite. I know you don't like some of the things I've done since you've come into my world and started to destroy it. And for that, I am sorry, but I don't need your approval. That's between Jen and I, and just like everything else, all caps, is my relationship with her. It's cute you think you need to protect her, but where have you been for the past 22 years? I know right now you think everything is going to be perfect if the two of you start a life together, but you and I both know the newness wears off in a relationship, and when you need to start dealing with the day-to-day details of life, you lose interest, and then you'll hurt her. You don't believe that now, but it will come.
Darrin was asked if, when he received emails like that, he had any reason to believe they were fake. He said no. Darrin said that as he and Jennifer continued to talk, on the phone, via text messages, and over email, she would tell him how Jamie was abusing her. She would cry and be really upset, which would then upset Darrin.
I was in shock. I, didn't know what to do. I was upset. And, I wanted her to, get the authorities involved right away.
He said sometimes Jamie would take Jennifer's phone and send Darrin text messages from there.
Let me ask you this. Now, the fact that she was texting, or he was texting you through her phone, eventually did you and her work out a system where you would know it was really her texting you and not him?
Yes, sir.
What system was that?
That's when we used my Special Forces team number, which is 575. So I told her when she writes to put down 575 right away, or if I just received a random text message, I would ask team. And so if I got the response 575 back, I knew it was her. If I got any other response back, like maybe like Green Bay Packers or Patriots or something or other, then I knew it was Jamie.
He said Jennifer never wanted him to call the police about the abuse.
Got real bad one night, and I threatened to do it because, at first Jennifer didn't want me to. After the first two times, I was like, we need to do something. And it was like, I believe the third time it got real bad that night. I had texted, I'm going to call the cops right now. And, I actually looked up the phone number for Dallas, PD. I texted that I got the phone number and I'm calling now. And then all of a sudden my phone rings and it's her calling me and saying, no, don't. He stopped. So the first few times that was what would stop me. And she didn't want the cops involved right away.
Why didn't she want the cops involved?
She said that, she started blaming it on herself and me by getting together. And she did not want to hurt Amber. Amber was living with him at the time. It was COVID had hit.
So the reason she didn't want to call the police was because she felt somehow responsible because she was with you, and that maybe that
yes,
she didn't want to involve us.
that she set it off, that she was doing something against their marriage, and so she was taking it like it was her fault, and then she did not want Amber to ever find out what her dad was doing to her mom. It was building up through the phone calls. Jennifer finally told me, Darrin, if you call the cops, I'm going to deny everything, so don't get them involved.
He said Jamie would text him from Jennifer's phone and detail the horrible things he was doing to her. If Darrin ever responded, Jennifer told him later that it only made things worse and that Jamie would take more out on her. In one email Jennifer forwarded to him, Jamie was scolding her for being overweight and vowing to put her on a vegan 1,200-calorie daily diet. What kind of husband writes that to his wife? Darrin said he thought. And again, the emails from Jamie seemed authentic. Darrin emailed Jamie back. He lied and wrote that he had called the police. He said he wanted to scare Jamie and that he wanted all of this abuse to stop. He testified that he felt helpless. He was in Tennessee. Jennifer was in Texas. He said he asked Jennifer if there were any of her friends that she could connect him with, feet on the ground in Texas. That way, Darrin could always be in the loop to know what was happening, and maybe that friend could get involved too, to help Jennifer. Jennifer mentioned Rob, her work buddy. Rob started emailing Darrin too. Rob wrote that he had called Jamie to talk to him and try to cool him down. Rob never called Darrin, though. Everything was done by email.
It was all email, but I was happy for that. I was getting a response. I thought, it was happening because then, Jennifer would tell me on the phone that, Rob called Jamie. Like after that first time that he said he called, Jamie was really upset about stuff. But the abuse stopped for a couple of days.
Did you think it now? Of course, now looking back now, knowing what you know, but at the time, did you think it was odd that you were never speaking to Rob on the phone or Jamie?
No, honestly, at the time, no. I was just relieved to have a third person involved in Rob. Like I said, I never, after that initial message from Jamie to me saying, he didn't want to talk to me, I never really considered talking to Jamie himself. I would have talked to Rob. I asked for his phone number. Jennifer would never give me his phone number. She would never give me Amber's phone number. I asked for both of those phone numbers. She would never give me either one of those. And that I started out first asking for phone numbers, and when she was negative, then emails. That's why I said she kind of, she would leave me on for a while, and then finally gave me that email to Rob. I was so happy just to speak to somebody else. I took it for being Rob.
And the reason you were relieved because you truly thought she was being abused.
Yes, sir. Yes. Not only the text messages, but again, from her voice herself, telling me on the phone what had happened.
Darrin said it was around this time when Jennifer told him about another man, Jeremy, who joined in this terrible cycle of abuse with Jamie. Jennifer said both men were raping her.
What did you think about Jeremy?
I thought he was a bastard. The way I got introduced to him was on a Friday night, him showing up at 1 a.m. with Jamie and Jeremy taking Jennifer back to Jeremy's place to abuse her. Basically, the pattern of the abuse then was on the weekends. Jeremy would show up about midnight to 1 a.m. on Friday. They would take Jennifer away, him and Jamie. They would leave usually for the weekend and be gone until usually Sunday morning.
Darrin said all this took an emotional toll on him. Not another late-night cry for help from Jennifer. Not another text message at midnight or 3 a.m. He said he was having trouble sleeping as it all went on.
It made me sick. I was losing my mind at these times.
According to Darrin, on wedding anniversaries, birthdays, or special days, those were the times when Jennifer said she experienced the worst abuse. Here's another message Darrin received from the email account attributed to Jamie. The prosecutor read it out loud in the courtroom.
Has she been telling you everything like she is supposed to? I have a feeling she has stopped talking to you about what's been going on. I am finally going to get what I want from her this weekend. Make sure and ask her about it. Look up any rough, gang-bang, triple penetration with breath control porn, and that's what we will be doing to her. See if she will tell you. If she doesn't, I'll need to start sending details again.
And another message from Jamie to Darrin.
Jamie Faith to Darrin Lopez, May 11th again, 11:38 a.m. That's fine. I just gathered everyone up so they can fuck her now all at once. We're going to make her text you about what we are doing to her and how she feels, since you want to be that close to her. Her wrists are tied together, but she has her phone and is able to text.
Darrin testified that months of this went by, and finally that summer, Jennifer's life seemed to be getting better. Jeremy wasn't raping her every weekend anymore. But then Jeremy returned. Jeremy is back, Darrin emailed to Rob, Jennifer's work buddy. The frantic text messages had started popping up on Darrin's phone again.
Once Jeremy came back into that picture, it stayed pretty constant.
Darrin testified that he saw the physical proof of Jennifer's mistreatment. She had shared photos of the ugly bruises on her body. He realized, too late, that those photos were actually from Jennifer's car accident years earlier, along with Google stock photos. In one incident, Darrin said Jennifer told him that Jamie had cut her hair.
She told me that it happened, it was after Vegas when they came back. One of his things then too was Jamie would start taking her into the bathroom, pushing her down on her knees and making him perform fellatio on Jamie. He started threatening her with scissors to cut her hair, and eventually he ended up cutting it.
So that concerned you, obviously.
Yes, I mean, even in the emails we did, Jennifer and I, her hair was special to me. I would brush her hair. I learned she taught me how to braid, way back when we were dating. Skills that, I had 5 daughters. It carried on. So when I would braid my daughter's hair, again too, I would think of Jennifer. But so her hair was kind of important to me. So yeah, him cutting it was hurtful to me.
And did Jennifer know this, that was important to you?
Oh yes, I even in my emails that I sent her, I even describe how I learned how to braid from her, and I braided my daughter's hair. She taught me how to French braid. That's what the girls use for soccer and softball. Not only did I do my girls' hair, but some of their teammates.
Darrin said another time, Jennifer told him that Jamie had practically killed her in an underwater sexual assault.
The next big thing then too was then he took her from doing fellatio in the bathroom. They have a swimming pool and a hot tub. He took her to the hot tub and pushed her down under the water and made her perform that way. And at one point, Jennifer told me she woke up with Jamie over him, pushing on her chest, giving him CPR to bring her back.
Darrin said he again didn't call the police because he had promised Jennifer that he wouldn't. But he said he worried that she was in extreme danger. Darrin and Jennifer talked on the phone more than ever that fall of 2020. Jamie also kept texting Darrin, threatening to keep hurting Jennifer and subjecting her to more abuse. 7 men were going to sexually assault her, he said. Darrin testified that he felt helpless. Until Jennifer suggested that he do something for her, something so sinister it would land him in jail, facing a possible sentence of life in prison. According to Darrin, Jennifer finally asked him for help in early October, before Halloween. Would Darrin kill Jamie for her?
She got to the point where she said that it's enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. She was talking about her having a way to poison him, so she would end it. And
how did you respond to that?
I was shocked. Again, brought up that we could go to the police again. Again, she brought up Amber. She didn't want any of that stuff involved. Where if Jamie can just disappear out of the picture, that would solve everything.
And did she relay this to you because she was afraid she might die from this 7-person hot tub incident that he was promising?
Yes, I think she finally got to the point, with me telling her, what the text, I would then, relate to her, on the phone. It's like, yeah, this is what Jamie's been sending me, that, that Friday is something special he's planning on, and she was like, I can't go through another weekend like this.
Darrin said he felt like he was out of time at that point and that he had to do something.
And so you decided that what was necessary at that point.
I'm going to object to leading at this point, Your Honor.
Did you think it was necessary? Yes or no? Did you think it was necessary?
Yes, I did.
To come to Dallas and eliminate the threat that you perceived based on emails, text messages, and phone conversations with Jennifer?
Yes, I did.
On October 8th, 2020, Darrin started driving to Texas on a road trip. His plan? To commit murder. Darrin testified that he drove straight through the night, stopping only to get gas or go to the bathroom. He said he turned off his phone so nobody would find the truth about anything. The rest of the world would never know what a monster Jamie was, and Amber, Jennifer and Jamie's daughter, would be protected from the truth about her dad.
So you drive straight all through the night, and what's going through your head the whole way?
Starting to transition back into my military mindset, that I was on a rescue to save Jennifer and Amber from this horrible man, that I need to be there. You're discussing it like, driving all the way through like it was a big thing. Me being special forces, I mean, not to brag, but this is just an everyday mission for us. 24 hours is not overwhelming whatsoever.
Was this a more emotional mission than any other mission you may have had?
The most I've ever had. And it really, on that drive, it started building as I got closer, especially when I hit the Texas state line, passing through Texarkana, getting closer to Dallas. All my emotions with everything started to ramping up.
Yes or no? Was it because you were getting closer to the danger that you've been perceiving this whole time?
Yes.
Darrin said the long drive from Tennessee to Dallas, Texas, only worsened his PTSD symptoms. He said he got lost as he hit the Texas border.
One of my PTSD, TBI triggers is I don't like a lot of people, and I don't like driving. I get lost easy. I can find you anywhere in Iraq. I still get lost in Tennessee driving around. As I was getting close to Dallas, I was just using the regular old, map. Dallas has a whole bunch of construction going on the highways. It's at nighttime. It's dark. And I didn't realize how big Dallas was.
Without the guidance from a GPS, he said he was just using a regular map. He pulled off the highway, disoriented in the dark. As he described that moment, he broke down on the stand. He said he was determined to do anything to save Jennifer.
I feel myself getting into my PTSD spiral. All these emotions.
You use that term, PTSD spiral.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's what doctors have told you happens to you when you get high stress and things like that.
Yes, right?
And this is something that, it's not like self-diagnosis. This is what doctors have told you.
I went through PTSD programs through the military and through the VA.
Well, let me slow you down. So you pull over.
Yes.
And you try to gather yourself. Is that when you turn on your iPad?
Well, not yet. I mean, I'm pulling over. I stop. I feel all these emotions coming on. I knew I'm lost. What am I going to do? She's going to be attacked within hours. I sit there thinking, the only way I'm going to be able to find her place is if I turn on my iPad. It's my Galaxy Samsung, actually. Turn on my Google Maps. That's the only way I'm going to be able to get back on there. But I know as soon as I hit that button, I'm leaving a digital trail.
He said he turned it on.
All the emotions of everybody that I've lost, starting with my team sergeant's kids, Ethan.
At this point, Your Honor.
You can answer the question as it relates to your decision making in the car that night. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. Started thinking about Ethan. He was my team sergeant's son who was murdered in Kentucky that we were there with, that we couldn't stop or do anything with. My granddaughter, Skylie. She died when I was in Iraq. She drowned. Thinking about, I was talking to my daughter Summer about it and saying, Dad, why aren't you here to save Skylie? My best friend, Dawn, committed suicide. I couldn't stop it. I was thinking about these things. Stuff that I couldn't do. I couldn't stop. I had promised myself if I was ever in a position to help somebody that I cared for and loved, I would do it.
Darrin was on the path to Jennifer and Jamie's house, a small blue house in a quiet neighborhood in the Dallas suburbs. It was dark out, 2 a.m. when he arrived. He said Jennifer had told him there was an abandoned house next door where Darrin could hide. He waited. His senses were on alert. He watched Jennifer and Jamie's house. He listened for sounds. He didn't want to burst inside because he was scared there could be collateral damage with Amber in the house.
But at this time, do you still think the danger is there?
Oh, I know it is. Like I said, it's key. The key time is October 9th and the dog walks. And, and talking, from the emails from Rob.
Yeah. I know you want to keep talking.
No, I'm sorry.
I have to ask you a question for it to
understand.
Do it the right way. Okay? So, Jennifer had also told you not only that this was that he was going to hurt her in the way that she described to you, but she had also told you in the past that he would also hurt her on walks.
On the walks, yes, sir.
How would he? Do you know wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
How would he hurt her on walks?
That's when she would get the burns. We got that, I got the email from Rob, and then talking to Jennifer on the phone, she had told me about he started to, sometimes would abuse her on the walks. And then she told me about the burns. And so then I put the two together.
Listening and waiting, Darrin said he heard the door open, followed by the sound of Jennifer's voice. Jamie and Jennifer were leaving the house with their dog.
Did you have to act immediately to prevent her from being hurt?
Yes, sir. There was that moment. As soon as Jamie left the house, was the first time I would be able to safely take care of the threat to Jennifer. And so I acted.
When you acted, what does that mean?
That's when I fired my gun into Jamie.
He fired 4 times. Jamie fell. Darrin moved in closer.
Being a medic, treating people on the battlefield, the human body can take a lot of damage and still live. I did not want Jamie to suffer. Even though, in my eyes, he was a monster, I did not want him to suffer. So I approached and I fired the rounds into his head. By training, should have only been 2. It ended up being 3 because at that time, then I was transitioning from taking out Jamie to now I'm going to attack Jennifer to give her plausible deniability to anything, to give her alibi. And so this is the first time that I've seen Jennifer since, 1993 in person. I'm getting ready to, the person that I love, I had to approach her, knock her down to the ground, and start to duct tape her.
Darrin said he went for the ring on Jennifer's finger and duct taped her, a staged robbery to make her look innocent. The rest of the neighborhood was starting to realize a shooting had just occurred. Darrin hurried back to his truck and drove straight through, back home to Tennessee. He was asked about his mindset on the ride home, now that Jamie was dead.
I felt I'm not proud to do it. I wasn't like, yay, something great happened. No, I was hurt, but I saved Jennifer and I saved Amber.
Now, the fact that you knew you had saved her and saved Amber, did that give you, solace, or did that help you when you were sitting in jail?
When I was sitting in jail?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one, now looking back on, that's the one grace that Jennifer gave me. She never told me everything was fake. When I got arrested, the first day in jail was horrible. I was just, I let everybody down, and family and everything. I started to, get control of myself, but, I was like, okay, I can do this okay. Because, at the time I was thinking I was the noble soldier that did my job. I did what I was trained to do. I protected people. I kept them from a monster. So that's what I believed.
It would come out later, to Darrin while he was in his jail cell, and to the rest of the world in court, that Jamie Faith wasn't the abusive husband Jennifer had portrayed him to be in her text messages and calls to Darrin.
Now, there came a time, though, where you eventually found out that Jamie, in fact, was not a monster.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I tried to convince you of that when I first met you. Wasn't that true?
Yes.
But eventually, you were presented with evidence that the emails were fake and that you were, in fact, not talking to Jamie, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were presented with evidence that that Rob, you were not talking to Rob. Is that true?
Correct.
And also evidence that you were not texting with Jamie also.
Yes.
and that really the only person you were really talking to all this time was Jennifer.
Yes, sir.
How did that make you feel?
I was devastated. I took an innocent life.
Jamie Faith was only 49 years old. Those who loved him described him as loving and kind. He had studied computer science in college, which led to a career in tech. He was working as a director of technology at American Airlines, according to his obituary. He loved football, especially the Green Bay Packers, traveling, food, and wine. A violent, dangerous man who repeatedly abused his wife? That was definitely not Jamie Faith. The biggest evidence against Darrin Lopez was his truck. Images of his truck had been captured on neighbors' surveillance cameras. Investigators zeroed in on the T sticker on the window. T for University of Tennessee, although at first they assumed it must be T for Texas Rangers. With her husband shot and killed, Jennifer looked like a grieving widow to the outside world. She appeared on TV interviews, begging for the public to be on the lookout for the black pickup truck. The sympathy rolled in, and she received $60,000 through a GoFundMe account. Jennifer allowed investigators to search her phone. She had deleted the thousands of messages she had sent Darrin, but there were still digital traces that investigators latched onto in order to discover her emotional affair with Darrin. They had found a text message she had sent to one of her friends that mentioned him, according to media reports. When investigators searched Darrin's home, they uncovered the pickup truck that matched the description of the vehicle at the shooting. Cell phone and financial data also connected him to the crime, as well as a gun found at his house. Darrin testified that there was always an inevitability that he would get caught. He sounded half-hearted in his attempts to hide. It was just a matter of time, he said. He told the court that Jennifer urged him to remove the T sticker and to wash his truck.
I really didn't want to. It was a sticker that one of my daughters gave me. But again, I don't like to lie. So I finally said, yeah, I did. But I knew in my mind, I knew in my mind that, I left digital evidence with my pad, and I saw the picture of the truck that they had. I wasn't, I knew law enforcement was good enough where they can track down a registration. And oh my gosh, the only vehicle Darrin Lopez owns is a black Nissan truck. So I wasn't too worried about the T sticker wasn't going to make a big difference. But again, to appease her, put herself in mind, and like I said, I don't like lying. I took it off. But again,
Objection narrative.
But again, she had asked me to clean it real well. I didn't do that. I just took it off, and you saw the residue. You saw the pictures of the residue.
Now, the weapon that was recovered, were you trying to hide that?
No, sir.
He said his plan was to turn his gun into the Nashville police whenever they next held a weapon turn-in for incentives. He said he didn't want it to ever be used for something bad. Before Darrin had been arrested, Jennifer had also asked him to wipe his computer and delete his emails, but he said he ignored her request. He never did. It was going to be a treasure trove of evidence for prosecutors. When Jennifer wasn't making accusations about being abused, she wrote Darrin kinky messages that were later read out loud at his murder trial. Darrin, the defendant, could only sit at the defense table and listen. At times, he looked embarrassed. Not everyone readily believed Darrin's version of events, that Jennifer had lied to him, preyed on him, in order to get him to murder her husband. How could somebody fall for such an outlandish story of abuse and gang rape? Why would Darrin believe the messages were written by Jamie, Rob, and Jeremy when it was obviously Jennifer crafting the over-the-top narrative in these fake emails? Prosecutor Brandy Mitchell asked Darrin these questions during cross-examination at his murder trial. She held up a photo of Jamie Faith, smiling, a kind face, for the jury to see.
This man, Jamie Faith, is who you killed, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
While he was wearing basketball shorts and walking his dog at 7:30 in the morning, this man was a threat to you?
Not to me. He was a threat to Jennifer.
He was a threat to Jennifer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We got a lot of stuff to go through, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You were given a picture of this man when you first reconnected with Jennifer Faith, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you learned that he works at American Airlines.
Yes.
He's a high managerial director, correct?
Yes.
You learned that he likes to game.
Yes.
That he loves the Packers.
Yes.
But this man started gang raping his wife.
Yes.
And you believe that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the fact that he works for American Airlines and is IT for American Airlines. One of the most regulated industries on earth. Correct?
I guess so. I'll take your word for it, yes.
But he's going to email you about triple penetration and splitting her like a peach.
Yes.
Does that make sense to you, Mr. Lopez?
Yes, at the time it did because I believed Jennifer.
Okay, but again, did it make sense to you? Did you ask any questions as to why a man who is in IT for American Airlines would email you about gang raping his wife with his buddy Jeremy?
No.
That didn't occur to you?
No.
Okay, because it reads more like a story, don't you think?
No.
She brought up the fact that just one day after reconnecting with Jennifer, he told her he loved her and that they were going to build a relationship together.
You tell a woman you haven't talked to in 30 years after one day you love her.
Yes.
Okay, because you have been harboring feelings for her for a long time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then all of a sudden these abuse and you go hard. You want her to come out to Nashville. You want to make passionate love to her all weekend long. And this is within 5 days of reaching out to her, correct?
Yes, I was surprised yesterday how fast it did. If you had asked me, I would probably send the first 2 weeks. It was surprising. But that's when, the text messages she built right away. And then right away she had told me about how her and Jamie were not emotional together. They were not physical together.
Okay. And that doesn't occur to you that that's a little strange?
No, it did. But again, I trusted Jennifer. Okay. She's telling me this.
She's telling you that she's with her husband and her have not had sex in 4 years.
Yes.
And then within weeks of meeting you, all of a sudden he's gang raping her with Jeremy.
Yes.
Didn't seem strange to you, Mr.
No,
Lopez.
It did. But at the time, I got into the picture. COVID hit. He's laying off people. I have seen good men break before. That's what I thought had happened. That Jamie snapped with all this pressure. The world changed at that moment.
Yes, I know, Mr. Lopez. We were all there.
Prosecutor Mitchell brought up the sexually charged emails Jennifer and Darrin had sent to each other.
So you and she start swapping erotica stories, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're taking BDSM quizzes, correct?
Yes, I'm starting to learn about it.
Okay. And why? Just
because
she was going through it?
No, because she enjoyed it. She introduced me to it. Even on the emails, I said, I never done this before, but she had led me down. I did this for her.
Okay, so let's go back to that. It wasn't a little strange that there's these emails that he's abusing her, doing the things to her that she actually likes?
Yes. No, I asked.
That didn't occur to you? No,
it did. I asked her about that. I said, this is there. And she said no, because she trusted me that she likes doing this stuff. She trusted me with it. So she wanted to explore it.
Okay. So she didn't want to be gang raped and triple penetrated by her husband, but she did want to be a little daddy's girl to you. True?
I suppose. Yes. Yes.
She also questioned why he didn't tell anyone about Jennifer's alleged horrific abuse. He was once part of a special forces unit where his fellow comrades were close. She asked why didn't he reach out to them for help?
And then you tell no one.
You mean outside of Rob?
Well, outside of you and Jennifer, and then this storyline with Rob, you tell no one, correct?
Correct.
And you've got 3 or 4 buddies that have even here in this courtroom, willing to stand with you. But you don't tell them that you're the love of your life, the woman you kissed at the Eiffel Tower, is getting gang raped. We got to do something. That never occurs to you.
Yes, it does.
But you don't do it.
No, because I did not want my best friends to see her in that light. She didn't want to be seen in that light.
Okay. Maybe it's more true that you didn't want anyone to know this relationship that you and she had while she was married and what was going on in that way. Isn't that more likely to be true, Mr. Lopez?
No, ma'am.
Because there's no reason that you wouldn't tell your best buddies about your relationship with Jennifer Faith.
No, I told them about the relationship. They knew I was dating Jennifer Faith or, in a relationship with her. I did not tell them about the abuse.
Not once.
Not once.
Never came up to the guys that you spent all those years with.
No, because I was protecting Jennifer. She didn't
Protecting her from what, Mr. Lopez? From what?
From being looked at bad. From the same way that she didn't want Amber to know. She didn't want anybody to know.
Even the messages between Darrin and Rob, Jennifer's so-called work buddy, never sounded realistic, she argued. How could Darrin fall for it?
You and Rob Schmidt are going back and forth talking about updates.
Yes.
How is she? Update. I think she's fine now. She just got home from being raped again, but I think she's okay. Hey, can you give me an update on this? Again, doesn't seem strange to you?
In which way, ma'am?
That it's completely absurd, Mr. Lopez, that you and another grown man are bouncing back and forth doing updates on the fact that your girlfriend just got raped. Does that not seem absurd to you?
You don't have to object at this point. This is an argumentative question.
Objection's overruled. You can answer it.
No, ma'am. I'm in the midst of this, living through this anguish with her, trusting Jennifer. That's the problem.
You had email fights with another grown man.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes.
In all caps, you send absurd emails like, get Jen home now.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Did you think that was going to work, Mr. Lopez?
I was hoping.
Hoping. You thought after, and you're getting texts about how he agrees to do so, but also her hands are tied up, but she can use her phone to text. Do you remember that email?
Yes.
Didn't think it was absurd that her rapist and the other men at the place with her would allow her to have her phone so she can text you? That didn't seem strange to you.
That was part of the punishment. That was what he was forcing her to do. That's what, that was part of the thing. Even in the email, he said he was watching her right there with the phone, making her text me what was happening to her. That was...
Okay, where are these texts?
They got dumped when my phone got locked up.
Prosecutor Mitchell argued that it was Darrin's goal all along to break up Jennifer's marriage and to be with her. And what about the incident where Jennifer said she was in the hot tub with Jamie and almost drowned?
And you do nothing with this little piece of information, this giant piece of information, in the form of a little text.
In what respect, ma'am?
You don't tell anyone. Don't let your buddies know, hey, this is getting serious. You don't do anything.
It was already serious. No, like I said, I put my trust and belief in Jennifer.
Prosecutor Mitchell argued that Darrin and Jennifer were in on it together.
You and Jennifer Faith in this together, correct?
No, I would not say from day one. Like I said, you saw the emails on day one. It ramped up right away. But no, my intention was never to. Intention, yes, was to be with her. For her intention for her husband to be dead, no.
Okay, so she doesn't want you to call the police, but she wants you to kill her husband.
Yes.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Darrin stepped down after hours testifying on the stand. The once love of his life, Jennifer Faith, had already pleaded guilty. She was sentenced to life in prison last year for orchestrating a hit on her husband. Darrin had reportedly cooperated with investigators prior to her arrest. But Darrin had decided to take his chances with a jury, perhaps hoping that they would sympathize with everything he said he had been through. Would his testimony sway them? Don't buy Darrin's story, prosecutor Caitlin Paver told the jury in her closing arguments. The idea that Darrin Lopez was justified in executing Jamie Faith, it's absurd and as unbelievable as those fake emails, she said. Even if you were to believe all of that, it still does not justify the murder of Jamie Faith. She said she wasn't going to diminish Darrin's service to the country or his mental health and injuries from serving in the military, all of which she said were true.
But it does not excuse this behavior. In fact, to the contrary, he is more equipped than anyone else to conduct some reconnaissance. He told you he was trained by the ATF in reconnaissance. So why not go do a little reconnaissance of your own and figure out if this abuse is actually happening? He's trained in situational awareness, assessing threats, all of these things because he was special forces. So in fact, I think you can hold him to a higher standard.
One of Darrin's defense attorneys, Cliff Duke, put the blame squarely on Jennifer for provoking and frightening Darrin into taking action. Jennifer, that prom date he had thought about in Iraq, had a powerful hold over Darrin and had manipulated him.
And she's been doing it since the time that Darrin and Jennifer first had that ever-important romance that has been central to his life for his entire life. His first love that he held on to through war, through torture, through injury, and through failures, and that then he reconnected with, and that she immediately began to take advantage of. And the state's implication that Darrin had some idea that this was fake or that this was wrong is ridiculous. Ms. Paver told you during voir dire, you don't leave your common sense at the door. Look at the emails, look at the communications, look at his testimony and what he has been able to tell you consistently throughout this entire process.
The jury began deliberating, and pretty soon they reached their verdict. They believed the prosecution. Darrin Lopez was found guilty of murder. In the summer of 2023, he was sentenced to 62 years in prison for executing Jamie Faith. We are pleased and thankful to the jury for this outcome, Dallas County Criminal District Attorney John Cruzo said in a statement. James Faith was a truly innocent victim, and we are thankful to provide a semblance of justice for his friends, family, and loved ones. Meanwhile, there are reports that Darrin is appealing to Texas Governor Greg Abbott, asking for leniency and saying that his cooperation with investigators led to Jennifer's arrest. No word yet on if it will be successful. And that's all for this episode. As always, I'd love to hear what you think about this case. Let me know by joining the conversation on Instagram at CourtJunkie, by tweeting us at CourtJunkiePod, or by emailing us at podcast@courtjunkie.com. This episode was researched and written by Gabrielle Russon. If you'd like to hear these episodes without the ads, hear additional Court Junkie bonus episodes, or get access to our weekly newsletter regarding fascinating court cases, check out our Patreon options at courtjunkie.com/support. Also, be sure to check out our sister podcast, Civil.
About the strange things we come across. But nothing was quite as strange as what we found in Varnamtown, North Carolina.
There's crooked cops, brother against brother. Everyone's got a story to tell, but does the truth even exist? Welcome to Varnamtown.
Varnamtown is available wherever you listen to podcasts.